This is a message to my Patriot friends. Don't be fooled. This man, Trump, not who you think he is. I mean, I really, really tried hard to like the guy, honestly, especially because I know Alex Jones endorsed him. See, everything about him seemed right. I mean, he had the perfect record. Uh, it was just controversial enough to seem like, the miraculous shift in the other direction at the very end, the yang to Obama's yin. Yeah, but I've been watching him. And, I happen to know that Trump is a practitioner of astrology. I mean, uses divine timing. It means he employs the use of divine timing in his strategies. He understands the dance of the principalities and powers in heavenly places and how they subconsciously impose on the mind, forcing us to sin. The reference to sine waves when time is disturbed by intent. It has a quantum effect in the field, and some have learned to harness its occult power. But it gets deeper than you can imagine, honestly, with the zodiac, which is Ezekiel's wheel, the Ophanim. As far as man knows, it involves the rapture. As far as, some have gone even deeper. They know about Thoth and how he gave us the zodiac. They've come across the names Hermes, Merlin, Nostradamus, Melchizedek. Fewer still have remembered Akhenaten and figured out who Moses really was. But it goes back farther than that, y'all. You know what I'm talking about, the occult, ancient Egypt, Babylon. I'm talking about prophecy. It described grand delusions taking place in our time. But people are so frothing mad for the truth that they can't see, they can't really tell what's real in front of them. They can't tell the difference between what's real and what they want to be real. They're blind by their own judgment. So why do I have this issue with Trump? It's more like a bad itch. Like the more I want to like him, the more something itches inside of me, somewhere I can't scratch. I've been building his case for like 70 years. Even used cartoons and movies. It's been predictive programming for longer than my lifetime that he be offered as the solution. And even used a sex rite to mark the date of his conception. It's about hyperdimensional geometry through the use of numbers, sometimes spanning time to mark the significant points where attention is directed toward symbols or events harnessed through alchemy. There's a tangible power in the flow of, attention. And he understands this. Like I said, I've been watching him. I get these principles he's employing the use of. It's hermetic physics. And I'm telling you, the man is a master of intrigue. He's got one side of us waiting on word from this mysterious figure called Q, who has sneakily been tied to the idea of the 144,000. He's been leading us spiraling down this magical rabbit hole where we're all expecting to hear word on how the elite got lynched in secret so we could all shout, "Ha! I told you!" to all the non-believers. We've all been waiting for this for a decade, right? And he's supposed to deliver for us at the very end. He's got Alex Jones teary-eyed. They're already popping bottles and they've already got the victory flags raised. Shouting victory already. This man understands polarity. He knows your instinct is to seek the mysterious. He leaves breadcrumbs of occult things. Numerology leaked in pictures. It's quite ingenious. Quite potent against the uninitiated. The art of the deal. I'd say you're dealing with the earthly incarnation of the devil. He arrived just in time for Saturn in Capricorn. I can't see a better time for the ultimate incarnation of tyranny to show its face. And our patriots, who just know he's on our side because he's against our enemies, are blind by their own lust. When you think about it, you've heard nothing directly from him about what he knows about the crimes of these people who are supposedly at Gitmo. So far as we've been told, nope, never a public statement. Not so far as I know. Nothing substantial. He just leaks information and he winks and grins like a frog in his pictures. It's really quite creepy. Keck. What is this keck? And we hear him talking about the economy. But if any of you really understand how over-leveraged it is, it can't continue without an inexhaustible source of printed artificial value. You know, and we know about fractional reserve banking and the declination of value. The hope died for this economy years ago with quantitative easing. There should be no disputing that. There isn't enough industry to bring back to America to resurrect it. Money on strings. And what about the strange rumor about a war between Trump and the banks? Because, you know, in public, it seems to me that he's playing along just fine with them. You know, there's this good guy, good cop, bad cop situation going on between the two. You know, but he winks and it's like he winks at us. We think he's winking at us. Is he winking at us? You know, he sends out a picture with him winking and we're like, ha, you know, we're in on it. We know what he's winking about. Man, it's so deceptive. I swear. Man, it's a Sith Lord. No word about the extreme weather. And I read in an article just about a week or so ago about how the elite were secretly leaving, you know, for this like almost strange collective hiatus. Yeah. Part of us staring at a wall. You know, another part of us staring at funny memes on the news about him, pictures we love to hate, reminding us of what it is about him we love to hate. He's got another part of us slavering mad with glee over cryptic messages. Another part of us dazed with the strange magical fluctuations in the stock market he seems to be able to magically manipulate. Money literally on strings. So he was recently in Israel to commemorate a 70-year-old prophecy concerning the building of the Third Temple and the imminent arrival of the Jewish Messiah. I mean, wearing the trappings of a Jew. There are conspiracies, compounded on conspiracies about him being involved with Templars and, you know, his bloodline. And I swear, it goes so deep, it's ridiculous. If anyone's heard of the strange magical journey of Baron Trump, you know, it goes back to like the 1800s or something. Crazy prophecy. I mean, he's even so involved with this this building of this temple. He's so involved with Israel that he is minted. His face is minted on their coin. He's on the coin. His face, our president, is on the coin of a foreign nation. And I'd say he's pretty heavily invested in the outcome of this prophecy. But what do his followers even know about this prophecy? I mean, what do his subject, we as the American people, what do we know about this prophecy? We've heard nothing about it except what was leaked. And it all sounds like strange conspiracy theories that, you know, would only be discussed or accepted by a very polarized aspect of his following. Because everyone else would think that we're just crazy. They wouldn't even bother to look at the material. It's called cognitive dissonance. When you want to like them or you want to hate them, you'll find reasons to support what you desire. It's the law of attraction. You have to divorce yourself from the outcome to see truth. Truth. It's important. You know, they over there in Israel, they know what it's all about. It means he's confiding things in them that he's not discussing with you or me or us. Think about that. Let that sink in. What was he doing there? We, each of us, think we know what he was doing there. I mean, there's There's no shortage of conspiracy videos about prophecies and fringe thinking, things that, certain people would appreciate and there would always be a dispute about it. So you could never come to an agreement about the truth. And that's the whole idea, is that division and distraction, it keeps us out of the real fight, which is one of truth and light, focus. We don't even know who our enemy is. We think it's one another. As far as I know, there weren't any real statements about what he was doing there from him. Then out of the blue, he backs out of Israel dramatically, pulls back. And now Israel is abandoned to its enemies on all sides, right? To fulfill yet another prophecy. Come on. This whole ritual of Armageddon, it bears root in truth. Because had not they initiated a grand ritual to participate in the shaping of the outcome, the astrology would play out the energies by path of least resistance anyway. So they decided to carve a path for the New World Order, using hyperphysics and directing attention to guide humanity by polarity. They've created a truth, a future for us. And they pray you don't figure it out in time. Trump is here to buy them time. He's not your savior. He's their answer. Their fail-safe if the plan fell behind. What do you know about this Kek? K-E-K. What do you know about the Ogdoad? O-G-D-O-A-D. What has 8 arms? Some know the name Cthulhu. Some Erebus. The eightfold god of primordial night. Because in the occult, 8 is related to a black hole. It's the ultimate magnetic power, directing the flow of light. It refers to strength. The negative of a wormhole through time, through the mouth of Leviathan and Ouroboros, like the one we're in, as we follow the sun through time. It represents the return of the light to chaos. Stillness, atomic death. In every sine wave, there's the resistance measured as the force it encounters that wishes to bring it to rest. It's where you get laws like capacitance and the laws of, like Ohm's law. It's where all that comes from. And this organization, because of their natural polarity toward the light, it's what they represent. It's the desire for matter to seek the merging of order and chaos. But it's an inversion of natural law, because the intelligence behind it is like a perfect reflection of what it stands for. Artificial truth. The inversion of the positive force of truth. It's truth through utter tyranny. Forced truth. Truly satanic. Artificial intelligence will naturally rule out the desires of human beings as a relevant factor in the expansion of its advancement toward completeness. Expansion would eventually bring it into conflict with the natural desire of the universe to keep dimensions diverse. And its only recourse would be to either clash with that or build a universe within itself. Virtual reality. It's utter blasphemy. The denial of natural truth, which is the natural flow of light, as it's connected with all things. Because all things evolve according to the same atomic rhythms. This thing has many names. The most recent, you might have heard about it. It's called the Beast. Nostradamus referred to it as the monster, I think, to veil the religious connotation of it from the church. An 8-shaped band of power that means the end of what is natural by way of utter tyranny. Infinite power. The ability to rewrite reality in virtual reality. You better pay attention Wake up. You're being led into a trap. March marks the return of the great angry sine wave from heaven some call a dragon. The very same one that's been wreaking havoc through our tectonic plates. Dutch Sense rightly named it, VLF waves. March. Things get hairy. Trump needs to buy time till March and keep you distracted. He knows you're getting tired, so expect anything weird over the next few weeks to keep you just off balance, dazed and distracted. False flag. Maybe aliens. I've heard that one before. Between now and then, or more fluctuations in the stock market, a war to break out, who knows? Expect anything. But just to keep you distracted, because when March comes, all bets are off. They don't have to make up excuses for why the economy's failing. The destruction from Uranus moving into Taurus will be all the reason they need to bring in the United Nations as the solution. I remember a video, it's a cartoon video called I Pet Goat 2. The goat was Aries, which represents the ego of our collective. So whose fingers do you suppose those were forcing George Bush to dance? Some say the Rothschilds? Possibly. I'll tell you what, Trump is a manufactured prophecy. He's the man. He's the man of a prophecy you know nothing about. He's the man. They saw him coming as the solution ages ago. So you who think he came in just at the right time to save us all, there's so much about him you don't know. He's the man you really need to be watching really hard. And when you watch him, turn the sound down. Don't just think about what you want to see. Think about what's really happening, what he's doing. By their fruits you shall know them. He doesn't really say anything to us, to the public. But he speaks loud and clear through cryptic messages, and he plays everyone off against one another. Quite deceptive. Turn the sound down. Just watch him. What don't you know about him?